Good afternoon, everybody. It's approximately 5 minutes to 3 p.m. on the 10th of September in the year of our Lord 2018. My name is Michael DeCARLO, and I am a write-in candidate for the United States Senate from the great state of Arizona. Coming to you live from the garage of DeCARLO Stanger's worldwide headquarters. Well, on last week, we got a letter from the Center for Arizona Policy. They're advocating so Arizona families can thrive. And it came with a questionnaire. This is a nonpartisan group, so they wanted to come back signed and everything, so I was filling it out today. And I figured I would record this video as a historical record of that I have filled it out. We'll start on the front here. You have your name and the email. The email here, if you have any questions, is michael@DeCarloEnterprises.net. Office sought is U.S. Senate. District is none. District would actually be the 9th District of the Circuit Court, but that's different. And the party affiliation is none. Please indicate whether you support or oppose the following questions. Moving Arizona out of the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals into a newly established 12th Circuit Court of Appeals. I would oppose that, because growing government does not solve problems. Now, do I understand that Arizona should not be in the same Court of Appeals that California is and the rest of the West Coast is? Yes, I do agree with that statement. However, I also don't agree that creating more bureaucracy will solve anything. Number 2 is prohibiting abortion except when necessary to prevent the death of the mother. I would support that. I am adopted. My oldest child is also adopted, and I believe that everyone has potential. Now, if we want to make it a religious rights argument, I would have to change that to oppose it, because in a liberty argument, I also have to change it to oppose it. I believe that everybody has potential and everybody has the right to live and survive and thrive. I also believe in liberty and the freedom of speech and having the privilege of calling your God whoever you want to call God and pray to them however you want to, and atone for your actions is your own choice. So there would be a little wiggle room in there, but as written here, I would support it. Making permanent tax relief provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. Anytime that we can provide tax relief to lessen the burden on the citizens of Arizona, I support it. Because less burden placed upon us is a benefit to everyone. Number 4 is protecting individuals' businesses from being required to use their artistic expression in a manner that violates their conscience. I support that. It comes down to the basic liberty of one's being. You can't force somebody to do something against their will. Number 5, interpreting the U.S. Constitution in the light of present and cultural context rather than the original meaning of the text and intent of the framers. I would oppose that. There's an amendment process already in place. If you'd like to change the Constitution, you need to provide amendments for it, and that would be the proper way of conducting business with the government instead of executive orders and stuff like that, or legislating from the bench through interpretation of how you see fit. Number 6, expanding background checks to include guns bought from private individuals. I would oppose that. Weapons are the last defense against tyranny. They're not meant to go shoot a deer. They're meant to shoot tyrants. And telling neighbors they can't trade amongst themselves to create a better benefit for themselves is not American at all. Number 7, providing federal funding to Planned Parenthood and other entities form or refer for abortions. I would oppose that. We fund wars to kill our enemies. Why would we want to fund anything to kill ourselves or our own people? Number 8, denying federal funding to sanctuary cities that do not comply with federal immigration laws. I would support that with the expansion of the statement that all governments in all cities that do not protect the United States Constitution would lose their federal funding. The United States Constitution as defined, confines government. It does not confine man. It keeps the government, and if it wants to take your property, your life, or your liberty, it must do so through due process. It can't just come and confiscate it. Number 9, adding sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression to the protected classes of race, religion, age, sex, and ancestry to non-discrimination law. I would oppose that. However, if you would strike the words gender identity and gender expression and only leave sexual orientation, I would support it. As written, I would support it. But as written, I would oppose it. And number 10, amending the U.S. Constitution required Congress to balance the federal budget every year. I would support that. The reason I would is that passing continuing resolutions is no way to run a necessary evil. For if it runs unchecked every year, you can just take what you had last year and putting something else on it and pass it on. That's not American at all. Turn it over here. Want to know about my family? I have a wife. Her name is Linda. I have 2 children, Cabry and Maggie, and I have 2 grandchildren, Delaney and Peyton. My children and grandchildren do not live in the state of Arizona. They live in Minnesota. Religious preference. Education. I'm a high school graduate. I have some college. I have some CLEP exams. And I have an abundance of military training. Military training I have is on submarines and also on how to remove problems from the battlefield and identify the problems to be removed from the battlefield. My occupation is I'm a blogger. I'm a retired Navy submarine chief. I was an electronics technician qualified in submarines. I'm a former Army intelligence and electronic warfare instructor, mentor, and a trainer. And in 125 words maximum, tell us why you're running for office. Number 1, I am not running for office. I stand for the office of U.S. Senate from the great state of Arizona for a few of the following reasons. The swamp cannot be drained efficiently and effectively by folks that are part of it, having assisted in the construction and maintained its current state. The voices of we, the people, have historically been overshadowed by moneyed interests, the moneyed interest of a few that are accountable to the stockholders above constituents. Government is a necessary evil. We as an American society cannot benefit from enlarging its size or scope. Smaller, accountable government is the true answer. And I ask for your vote, since of all the candidates that will ask for it, I'm the only candidate that has already operated a drain pump in your service. My name is Michael DeCARLO, MICHAELDE, and I ask for your vote in November for the United States Senate from the great state of Arizona. I want you all to have a great day. I hope everybody's healthy and enjoying the weather. Got a little bit, another storm moving in here, it looks like. There's some clouds building over the Huachuca Mountains, coming over the border. It's going to be a great day. It's a great time to be alive. And let's remember the folks that were sacrificed and made sacrifices for us in the events in New York, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon 17 years ago. We can pray for peace and prepare for war. My name is Michael DeCarlo, and I approve this message. Have a good day.